See people show up on Friday before Christmas.
You never know. I mentioned it to Terry this morning when I talked to her, and she was like, "Oh," but she was non-committal.
Okay, who do we have joining us today in our newly reactivated Hubbli members only weekly coaching webinar? So, so we got one person so far. Who's here? Let's see. We got Patricia is here. It's Patricia. Awesome. All right, Patricia. These webinars are broadcast only. Oh, we've got another member joining us here. So as you join, guys, just tell us who you are, and we'll happily field questions. Pat's going to keep her eye on the chat box for questions. I'm going to be focusing on the topic today, which is going to be using Hubbli to manage your enrollment. And it's going to be focused mainly on the use of Hubbli forms. Also, we're going to show you a version with basic um, workflow automation. Also, a version with our advanced workflow automation and what you can do with both versions. So in a moment, I'm going to get things queued up on my end. Going to wait a minute or two just to see if anybody else hops in, and we will get going real soon.
Well, you're queuing up, Jono. I just wanted to say hello to everybody live and ask, as Jono mentioned, go ahead in the chat box, which should be on the right side of your screen, towards the bottom. Just go ahead and put who's on the line and where you're from. That'd be great.
I also just want to mention, as a caveat, just these weekly coaching webinars, these are not scripted. These are off the cuff. So just definitely feel free to ask questions, and if we see something that is not going to take us maybe too off track or what have you, we'll definitely do it. I also want to ask that we focus questions on as much as possible on the topic. If there's anything specific to your site, or if you're let's say you're experiencing a bug or you're running into a challenge, we're not gonna dive into like questions that are just specific maybe to one customer, but we will definitely, if it's related and it makes sense for us to jump into that, we'll definitely answer your question. And as I said, Pat's going to keep her eye on that. So we've got Patricia and Maggie um, joining us, the dynamic duo over at Fort McMurray Montessori in Alberta. So welcome, um, and we'll jump into this. So I'm going to share my screen here, and go. Oh, I'm running into a technical issue. Of course. This will be resolved in a moment. While you guys are waiting for me to get my screen working, I'm going to give you some listening homework. This is my band from back in the day when I was a full-time professional drummer. Let's see if we can cue that up. It has to be my band because I can't just play anyone's music publicly. I can get in trouble. That's what YouTube tells me.
Well, I know it's a good thing you were in a band, Jono, because if you asked me to sing while you were doing stuff, we'd be in big, big trouble.
It's high time.
There we go. You guys hearing this?
Yes, we are.
This time you just can't lose. You better open up your eyes, cause it's a new world. And something's gotta change it. We were chosen, though we fallen. Hear our voice, cause we are calling. Now, Now, you can hear just what I'm saying. We live in a world that's full of need. We live in a life that's incomplete. What will be, so fight till you are free. See, society will say that this is for real now. And they'll tell you how to think and how to feel. But if you want to see the truth revealed, look outside yourself and see the light. Move, yeah. Feel it till the music gets you high. Don't hold back. Said let it take control. I said now move, yeah. Feel it till the music gets you high. Don't hold back. Let it take control.
All right.
The sun shines here. The days are long and bright.
This is me drumming, guys. Believe it?
Don't disrespect yourself, cause it's clear to me to see how something's gotta change right now. Welcome to the new world. Don't you see I'm underneath society's drug, yeah. And they tell me that the world's come undone. But if
Next time I'll find a song with a drum solo, maybe. We need to be moving up here in Canada. It's really cold. I'm sure Alberta is a lot worse than Toronto, but it's pretty cold here today. Okay, I'm good to go. I'm gonna wind the music down here. All right. Beyond Eden, early 2000s. Okay, and let's see. The screen happening. Sorry about the delay, folks. So are you guys seeing the screen okay? Looks like it's working. So this is the this is the Toronto Montessori Schools fake Hubbli site. This doesn't exist. This is just a pretend example just to use as a demo for today's purposes. And what I've done is I've set up a simple Hubbli installation that is really focused just around the enrollment marketing. So what I'm going to show you today is actually a result of our new enrollment marketing campaign. The things that we've learned from specifically running Montessori enrollment marketing campaigns, and we have customers that have signed up with us for that service. And what they're getting is unlike existing Hubbli customers that are already using the full platform of Hubbli. They're using Hubbli for certain components of Hubbli is basically a package of Hubbli. It's a very specific package of the Hubbli features, and we are doing we're with this service, we manage this top to bottom. So we have customers that are using the enrollment marketing system version of Hubbli that comes along with the the full ads management, where we design it and run all the ads and test them, and then also they get their Hubbli site, and it's all managed by us. We're acting kind of like their virtual marketing team. It's being outsourced to us, but of course they get a Hubbli site so they can log in and they can see where everything is. And then this is obviously available to all of our existing customers as well, who decide to add this service on top of the system that they already have in use. So so we've learned a whole lot from doing this, and being the the agency that's completely managing their enrollment. And we've been doing this also for years for different customers here and there. So what I'm going to show you today is really the accumulation of all of this learning on how we think Hubbli should be used, as it can be used for many, many different things, because there's so many different things that schools have to manage. One of the very important ones, of course, is enrollment management. Let's be honest, if you don't have students, you don't have much of a school. So so let's jump right into it. So what we've done here, what I'm going to focus on today is this area called enrollment management. So when I click on this page, what we're going to see here is a list of, basically these are inquiries for this school. So these are inquiries that would have been generated from an ad campaign on Facebook. people clicked on the ad, and then they would come to, as an example, a landing page here. I'm going to show you the landing page that people, click on. This is just an example of a landing page that we would design for our customers on their site. So you kind of replace your logo here, envision your logo there, talking about your school here. Here's a simple, inquiry form where a potential customer could, obviously, inform you that they want you to follow up with them. They're interested in your school. You got some quotes here, very standard elements of a landing page, testimonials from your existing parents, and we add all sorts of things to these pages. This is just a demo, so it's just a very simple version of a landing page, and of course another opportunity for the parents to fill out this inquiry form. So this inquiry form, what happens when they fill it out is it shows up on this list called enrollment management. And so let's just say these 4 people here clicked on the ad, hit that page, hit this page here, filled out this form, and then the automation ensues. We'll talk about again the basic automation versus the advanced automation, but this page here is the central point for managing all of your inquiries. That's the purpose. So let's just say you're going about your day. You're a director of a Montessori school, or you're the director of admissions. You're the person that is the one on the ground that needs to make sure that all the different prospective parents that are interested in your school are being managed, and that you understand you've got them, you have a clear, easy snapshot to see, simple snapshot to see what parents are at what stage. So we can see here that let's just assume that these 4 inquiries came in recently, and they are automatically at, if you notice, we've got inquiry status. They're at tour not booked. Okay, so all right, so they filled out that form. When a parent fills out that form on that landing page, the director is going to get an email. You're going to be notified, by the way, every time that happens. You're going to get an email in your inbox with all the information notifying you that this happened, so can't miss it. But let's say you do miss it. Let's say you forgot, you got busy. I think any Montessori administrator or director or school owner knows how busy things get. There's lice in the classroom, and you're getting 1,000 calls from the parents, and you got pulled in a few other directions that day, and you forgot to follow up with that new inquiry. So you can always come right back here and see where they're at. Oh, we've got 4 inquiries, and they've told us they're interested, but we haven't booked them for a tour yet. So what do? Well, we've got their information here, right? So let's call them. So let's say you call one of these folks. You're going to call Mr. John O'Test. It's a weird name, but call him anyways. So you give him a call, and he's got a really weird number too, a lot of 2s and 3s. But you call him up, and John O'Test is like, okay, I'm interested in your school, and I want to come in and see it. You've done the job of getting them interested to come and see the school, and you have booked that appointment. So what are you going to do? You're going to go over here. You're going to click Edit Entry. And what we see here is you've got a bunch of statuses. So this is the enrollment management form. What we're doing is using the Hubbli form system. We've created an enrollment management form, and it makes it really easy for you to go in here and just, let's say, okay, you booked them for the tour, so you move them to tour booked. That's simple. And then you go to the bottom, click Update. So now that's updated. Perfect. Close the window. And when this page refreshes, what we're going to see is now on our list, we've got this really, again, we can see everyone that's booked a tour. So that gives us a good sense. So let's say let's just make another update. Let's say Sanad Sajir also, let's say his tour is complete. He actually came in and did a tour. Awesome. Close the window. when the page refreshes, we're going to see that we've got really clearly, and we can sort by the status too. If we want, as you are using this system more and more, this list is going to get longer, and that's when sorting becomes a really handy tool. So you can click on inquiry status and sort the different uh, prospects by their status, right? You could also look somebody up. You could do a quick search and say, just do a search for booked, and then you'll see, well, let's say do a search for not booked, and then you'll see the two are not booked, that type of thing. So you can filter the list real quickly. Um, and 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 the other thing I want to mention is that this is a great place to have all of the different um, points of information, points of data that are helpful at a quick glance right here. So currently, if I click on edit this entry, uh, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at the form, the enrollment management form. So when you talk to somebody, you might, maybe your school, or it might be helpful to add in the name of the student that they're inquiring for, the birth date of the student, and you might have a section for notes. So you can add all these things in. These forms, of course, are editable. So you can go into that form and you can edit it. So let's just say we want to go ahead and do that. I'm going to jump into the form editor. So I'm going to go to the dashboard. The other thing we might want to do is you might want to have a different status. Maybe you've got a part of your enrollment process that we haven't added there. And there's a status that you'd like to quickly see. As an example, you might have a stage in your enrollment process where you want to do an interview with the child. Maybe children of a certain age, you want to have them come in for a child visit, not just parent visit, but a child visit. So let's go into the enrollment management form. We're going to actually go ahead and edit this form, and I'm going to show you how to add a couple of things to this form to make it maybe more customized to your experience. So first I'm going to go, I'll do what I was just talking about, the inquiry status. So we want to add an additional status to this form. So we've got current status, we have two are not booked, two are booked, two are completed, approved for application, denied for application, they're on the waiting list, approved for enrollment, denied for enrollment. But let's just say before somebody is approved for the application, so tour booked, we might call that the parent tour, or might just consider that the parent tour, but we might also want to have the child visit as a required step, or at least maybe not required, but maybe for some children, maybe the parents tell you this child has certain learning disabilities, so you want to assess them yourself. So it's not a standard scenario. So we're going to go ahead and add that stage to the, or maybe, yeah, let's just say, we could even say child visit required, which tells you, which gives you information, right? And then the other thing we could add is we've got the name of the parent, but we don't have the name of the child. So I'm going to duplicate this name field. So we've got, and what I'll do is I'll say, I'll change the name here to parent name, and then I'll go down to the next one here and call it child name, right? And this can be really helpful too, because one of the next things we're going to talk about is automated emails that can be sent to the parent at different stages, and it can actually include the child name. It could be, uh, dear Mr. Smith, we're excited to accept Bobby for enrollment, that type of thing. So you can like customize it, while it's actually a pre-written automated email, it's merging in. Our email notifications can use merge tags and bring in different parts of the information that's collected by these forms. So it makes it a nice, warm, personal email that doesn't actually look or feel like it came from an automated system. It actually is personalized, which makes people appreciate that. So we got parent name, child name, and let's just add one other section here. We're going to grab a paragraph text field, put it at the bottom, and we're just going to call this admin notes. And of course, this is a form that's only seen by the administration. So these notes are safe. This, no one else is going to see this. You're not, no prospective parents, not even staff members. Remember, you can really control who has access to these forms by role or by specific users. So, if there's notes in here from the child visit and you're like, oh, God forbid, no, we cannot take that child, devil child type of thing. Of course, you wouldn't say something like that, but if you did, it could go in there and it will be safe. You're assured that you can um, make fun of all the children you want and nobody will know. But don't do that because that's not very nice. Okay, so let's go back to this form now. So we're going to see those updates I made to the form. So what we're looking at, this is the list of entries. This is the entry list of the enrollment management form. So we're going to go back to this option here, and we're going to click on Edit Entry for the first one for Jono Test, and oh look, now child visit required. Child visits required. Awesome. And also we're gonna make a note. Jono tests child has ADHD, and we need to do an observation before accepting. I don't know if that's a thing, but from what I understand, that could be a realistic situation. So now again, we can take a look at that status, and what we've got this first one here is now updated. Child visit required, and the notes are right there. You get a nice snapshot on the notes as well. And if you want to see them further, you can open it up. You can preview the entry, see the whole thing right there. And if you need to make an update, again, click Edit Entry. Okay, so one more. So that's nice. This is the most simple and manual way of managing your enrollment. Having a nice simple list where you've got a clear picture of all your different prospective parents, and they're organized by their, their stage or their status, right? And you can add any statuses you want. You can add in any bits of information you want to this form, so that you can easily manage your enrollment and always know where the information is, and not let these prospective parents fall through the cracks. So now let's talk about getting a little more advanced. So one thing I want to show you with our advanced automation features, if you take a look, this landing page, this is just, this is an inquiry form, a very simple inquiry form that we created and embedded on this landing page. So this is one of the Hubbli forms, but it's only asking first name, last name, phone number, and email, because when a form is on a landing page from, that gets traffic from a Facebook ad, you don't really want to ask too many questions. You want to make it easy for the parents to inquire and give you their contact information so that you can call them and basically sell them on coming in for a tour. Footnote, pro tip here, don't try to sell a parent on your school until they come into your school. So at this point, this is one of the other key takeaways that we've been learning from running this service for our schools is some schools are really great at taking the leads that are being generated from our campaigns. They click on the ad, come to this landing page, they fill out that form and give the school their information. School calls them, and the parents come in for a tour. Pretty standard stuff. Other schools have a harder time doing it because they're they're trying to actually sell or even teach a prospective parent about Montessori, you know, um, about Montessori at this stage, which is a little bit too early, right? So something to keep in mind. when you're getting prospective parents coming in as leads from an advertising campaign, um, what you want to focus on when you call them up when they fill out this form, you get their phone number and you call them up. You don't want to get too much into actually selling the school. What you want to do is sell them on the value and benefit of coming into the school. Come into the school. We're going to give you coffee. We're gonna, you're gonna get to see what the school is like, and we'll show you things how how we're a little different from other schools. It's about information for you. You'll be able to take this and compare to other schools. You're not making a commitment. We're not trying to sell them. You want them to feel like they can just easily come in and leave whenever they want, and not feel like they're walking into a commitment. From the point of this phone call here, and it's just about it's about getting them to the next stage in the process. Much like your website should not be used to sell parents on your school or Montessori. Your website, the purpose of your website is to get the right prospective parents into your enrollment process, to come into the school. That's the purpose of your website. Again, I'm going to restate that. The purpose of your website is not to sell your school. That might sound crazy, but I could even send you a recording of Jonathan Wolf saying the exact same words in a webinar we did recently. The purpose of your website is not to sell your school, and it's not to train parents to teach them about Montessori either. And that's a big shocker to a lot of people. The purpose of your website is to get the right prospective parents to come in to the school and learn about it. And at that point, that's when you start selling them on the school. When they come in for an information session, when they come in to a tour, that's when you start selling the school. And that's when Montessori leaders shine. That's when, that's when they see passionate educators, people that are amazing, people that have a lot of wisdom and are going to take good care of their kids. That's when the selling happens. You don't even have to sell it. You just have to be you, and you will close that enrollment. But you got to get them to that point and trying to sell them on Montessori and sell them on your school and before they're actually walking in the doors is a really good way to turn away a lot of parents that would have been potentially a great fit for your school. So so that said, I just went on a tangent there, but it's an important one. I'm going to jump back into the technical side of the system here. With the Hubbli enrollment system, this form here, sorry, I'll jump back. I'm jump back too far. This form here is it's a different inquiry form. You can have multiple forms on different pages or different campaigns that collect the information from the parents, but you want it to all centralize into one place. So with our advanced workflow system, you can have multiple forms grabbing information from different prospective parents. In this case, it's just one. But what happens is when that gets filled out, it shows up here. So let me show you an example. So these are actually two different forms, but one form can populate the entries of another form. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just say Jono test 2 is this new prospective parent coming in. Jono test 2 phone number is a lot of 3s and 4s this time, and then the email jonotest2 at mailinator.com. Okay, so I'm jonotest2. I'm a whole new parent. I've clicked on an ad. I was browsing Facebook, saw this cool ad with a great video made by the brilliant people at Hubbli, and clicked on it, and then it took me to this really beautifully designed landing page from the brilliant people at Hubbli, of course, and then filled out the form, submitted it, and what happens is, let's just take a look. If we refresh the enrollment management form, your one centralized enrollment management list. Here it is, Jono test 2, right there, and 2 are not booked, right? Because that makes sense. So when that comes in, well, I got notified too, right? I'm going to know that that tour is booked. So what I'm going to do also is just show you what happens as let's say I'm the school director and I'm running around taking care of 1,000 different things. Um, you know, there's a fire to put out over here. There's a new playground being built over there. We've got a fundraiser I'm working on, and what else? There's probably 100 other things I could list that you could be doing with your time as a school director. Um, and but you want to make sure you don't miss any enrollment opportunities, of course, right? So number one, you can just remember, go back to the enrollment management page. I'm going to see the list here, but in addition to that, we're going to send you a notification to your email inbox so that you can't miss it. And when my email comes in, which I think this demo site is set up correctly to do so, but because we're doing a screen share, my internet's really slow, so we'll see if it takes a little longer. It might take a little longer for that notification to come in. In any event, the notification will come in, and you're going to see, so you've got a couple of opportunities to make sure that you don't miss any new prospective parents. So John O'Test, he sent this, and then I called him or somebody else called him. So I go in and I edit the entry. And you can also use this not just for uh, advertising that's come in from an ad campaign. You can also oh, here we go. This is I'm actually going to pull up this. This is the email notification I got. You know, new submission from the inquiry form. So there we go. So I see the information. So I can, in real time, whenever a parent inquires, you get a new prospective parent into your enrollment funnel. You're going to be notified in your inbox, and it's also going to show up here automatically. So you just got to log into Hubbli and see that list. But I want to say another way to use this too is, let's say somebody comes in for actually a walk-in. I'm sure you get walk-ins, right? Because beyond people on Facebook, there are folks that are just going out looking, right? And those are the low-hanging fruit. Those are the ones that are the easiest to obviously enroll. So let's say somebody walks in and you're available, you give them a tour. So boom, you just move that person right to tour complete, right? Leave some notes. Uh, walked in and I gave him her a tour. They are a great fit. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and update. So there we go. And now when this page refreshes, of course, we will see not only status, we've got tour complete. We've got 2 that are tour. So I'm going to organize by status. I'm just going to sort by status. I clicked on here and it sorts everybody. So I can see we've got 2 at the stage of tour complete, and I've got notes from one of them right there. So a really helpful way, again, very much like a spreadsheet for any folks here that like to use spreadsheets. But spreadsheets are great, but they don't update themselves, and they also don't trigger email automation. So another advanced use case of the forms is I'm going to jump into uh, the settings on the form. So this is what we call our workflow. So workflow is not, not all Hubbli customers have workflow. Any Hubbli customers using our enrollment management service get workflow. It is a part of the package. Any Hubbli customer can get workflow, but it just comes with the enrollment management service as well. This workflow adds really advanced uh, like automation capabilities to our system. On basically adds those capabilities to the form management. So there's a million ways that you can use this tool to basically automate the manual steps that you go through when running different administrative processes. In this example, what we've done is we've got a number of different emails. So as an example, post inquiry drip email 1, and then post inquiry drip email 2. So when somebody fills out that that form, that inquiry form, they're actually going to start getting emails, automatic emails. So let's take a look at one of them. Let's look at the first one. So we've got 4 different emails here that can be sent. This is just an example. You can have as many as you want, but this gets sent. It's a notification, and it's being sent right away. And it's a little email um, that I'm actually going to remove the last name merge tag here. So it'll say dear first name. In this case, would be dear Jono Test 2. The subject is which school is best for your child. So you can, this is just an example that we've got at one of our customers' schools, and just giving them a nice, sort of primer on Montessori. This school is an AMI school, so it's talking about how they're accredited by AMI. Um, of course, if you have other accreditations, you could swap that in. The idea here is that you're actually giving the parent some helpful information for where they are at this stage, and then you can have, as we have here, we actually have a series of 4 different emails that'll trigger. We've set it up to go 3 days apart. So again, the marketing doesn't have to stop. It can keep going. You can keep on building that relationship with these parents, these prospective parents, even while you're sleeping, basically. So somebody fills out, again, they start off by going into Facebook, they see an ad, they click on the ad, they come to the landing page about the school, they fill out the inquiry form, and then they start getting automated emails every few days that talks about Montessori and your school, and it just keeps on giving them helpful information and reminding them that they need to come in and see your school. And um, while at the same time you're calling them, right, to invite them into a tour and sell them on the benefits of coming in for a tour. They're also, they're also getting hit in their email inbox with like helpful information. So all of these things are important. And what you want is a system that's set up and just works, rather than you having to. Because if you can imagine how unrealistic it would be to manually send emails, right, to everybody. So let's say somebody walks into your school, and you send them an email that day, and then you have to remember to send them an email in 3 days again, and then send them another email in 3 days, and send them another email in 3 days. Having to do that manually and remember it and schedule it would be really unrealistic. But with a system like this, it just happens, and it's working while you sleep. And all you have to do is go and make sure that these emails are good and say the right thing. And we even help you with that too. So that's what that's our what we call our advanced workflow automation. And we can also trigger emails to go off at certain points. So let's say in that form, if we take a look at this form, let's take a look at one of the stages here. So I'm going to build an automated email that's going to be sent to the parent if they're approved for the application. So that's one of the stages in the inquiry. That's one of the statuses in the enrollment management system, right? So if I close that, I'm going to go back to the workflow, and I'm going to go back to the list here, and I'm going to add another automated step, another workflow step. And this is going to be a workflow step that's going to send the parent. So here it is. So invite to fill out application form. So the site already has an application form, and we want this to be sent out as a notification. And we're going to create a condition for this step. So here's the condition for this step. The condition for this step is that the inquiry status is approved for application. So what happens is, as soon as the inquiry status gets changed to approved for application, this step is gonna is going to send the notification to that parent. So we've selected the parent's email, so that's where it's being sent to. Let's say from Toronto Montessori School, and the from email is going to be the address of the school, and the subject could be something like please fill out our application, or how to apply to the Toronto Montessori School. Toronto, not the, to Toronto Montessori Schools. And then we could say, we could build that, we'll build a really quick and basic email. Hi, let's merge in the first name of the parent first name, comma, we are excited to invite you to fill out our, oops, typos, application form. To do so, please click on the following link. Something like, here, I can actually find it. Exact link will be, oh, it's not, we don't have one. So let's just we'll pretend that there already is an application form on the site. So it'll be Toronto Montessori Schools .hubbli.com/application form. Hyphen in between. There we go. So that's the link. So when they get that, it'll be a link. We can even make sure it's an active hyperlink. We go over here, makes it a hyperlink. Perfect. All right. And then, thanks in advance. And you could add a picture in here, and you could format it and make it really pretty if you want to. Let's go ahead and let's put our logo at the bottom. Why not? A little fun. Toronto Montessori School logo. Little thumbnail size. Insert that into the. There we go. Thanks in advance, Toronto Montessori School. So it's a nice, now it's a nice branded little message, the logo. Make it a little bit smaller. Let's just keep it how it is. There we go. All right. Now that message will be sent out to that parent whenever. So again, you have met the parent. They're great. You want them to apply. All you have to do to make sure that they get to that application form now is go to the enrollment management page and say, so you don't have to write that email manually. You don't have to go into Gmail. You just go here and we click on, let's say Sanad Sanjir, he's ready. So I'm going to click on approved for application and update it. And then that email would be sent out to that parent. Let's actually try it here as well. So these guys are now approved for application. Okay, and and then it goes on as that parent moves through the different stages of your enrollment process. You're updating the list. You've got to, as you do that, the system is handling the different the different steps that need to be handled. There's many of them, so why have to do those manually when the system could handle it? And that parent comes in. When they come in, we're freeing up your time so you can just focus more on the face-to-face interactions, which are so much more valuable. So yeah, so are there any questions on any of this stuff at this point?
Jono, I actually have a question.
Okay.
So if a school currently has Hubbli, after they enroll the student into their school, how do they get into the Hubbli system and join their, basically join that system? Is it automatic or can it be?
I'm not clear on the question.
So a parent comes here to fill out the inquiry form, puts their information in, and then they
they did that on the landing page.
Correct. Yes, on the landing page,
Yeah.
and they put all their information in. They go through through the tour and everything, and everybody's happy, and they fill out the application and enroll in the school. Do they automatically become part of the school's existing Hubbli site?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, so that's a really good question, and that's a really good use case of the automated workflow feature. So as an example, we could go back to that form. Let's see here. Um, let's go back to the workflow steps. So let's say this family is this child, this family is approved for. Um, they get to that stage where they're approved for enrollment. So we can add a workflow step, an automated step. Um, let's call this add to site. Call it add parent to parent. We're just naming the steps so that we understand what it does. But we have this step here called a user registration step. So and again, we're going to enable a conditional logic for this step, and the conditional logic for this step is that they are the inquiry status is approved for enrollment. So once they're approved for enrollment, it's going to go ahead and create a user in the system as an actual enrolled parent, so that you can start. The parent is now already added to the system, and you've so you don't have to go and make a separate user account for them. Again, just taking care of one of the steps already. So you've told the system that this parent is approved for enrollment. So automatically they're going to get an email. Please go here and fill out the enrollment form. But you can also go ahead and just make a user account for that parent automatically without having to go do it manually yourself. Does that answer your question, Pat?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, that does answer the question, and it saves a lot of steps all around for the parents and the staff. So that's very cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. So so Patricia,
Actually,
you're asking how much is in the marketing package, and that the answer to that is it depends on what your needs are, Patricia. So I wouldn't obviously we'll talk about that stuff, and we'll get into what the marketing package would cost, but it's kind of depends. So in a setting like this, this is a webinar. I'm happy to have that discussion with you one-on-one, either today or whenever is good for you. We can figure that out. Yeah, so I just want to thank everybody for joining us. This is going to be a weekly occurrence. We're going to talk about different topics. A lot of our topics are going to be based around the forms for Hubbli, because they are just so powerful, and there's so many different ways of using the forms and the workflows, and ways to reduce the different manual processes that school administration have to go through, can be automated and really simplify things. But with a tool that has so many options and can do so much, there's a lot to learn, and it can be overwhelming, and we recognize that. So we're really going to dig into providing as much education around this as possible. We're also now allowing schools to basically use our support team like virtual school staff, administration staff. So not only can can you use Hubbli if you're a Hubbli customer to do all these things? You can actually just go ahead and if you're at the right package, you could just have us do it for you on your behalf. So if you're interested also in us just managing everything for you, and all you have to do is basically email help@hubbli.com or go into Hubbli and use the chat box, and tell us what you need done. Um, depending Even depending on your package level, you can have a dedicated Hubbli support member who's dedicated to your school, working for you on demand, very much like what companies all around the world are doing with virtual staff. Essentially, they're Hubbly team members dedicated to your school, which really allow your team to free up themselves from the busy work and focus on you know things that are much higher value to your school, rather than things like shuffling paper or compiling lists and things like that. Like, let our team handle that, the boring stuff, the busy work, and so you guys can focus your time on the things that are going to really have a much bigger impact on your school. Because you know the average school, let's say per field trip, spends about 3 hours on paper management. That's just a field trip. There's about 3 hours of paper management with a field trip. It's insane, but it's true. And that's just one of hundreds of things that schools have to manage. Why should that happen, right? Um, why should there be any of that going on when not only can the system do it, but at the same time, one thing we're hearing from a lot of school directors and administrators, like, they don't necessarily want to learn the software. So if you don't want to learn the software, you don't have to. If you're a Hubbly customer, you can actually just have the software, have access to everything, so you know where everything is and you've got full access to it. Um, you know, but just rely on our team to kind of basically do everything for you. Everything will be done for you on demand with this new sort of package. That it's not a sort of package; it's a new service that we're providing, um, where you get dedicated, Hubbly team members doing everything that you need that your staff would do, but doing it for you. And of course, yeah, we can do it a heck of a lot faster. And we don't have to learn the system either. So it kind of removes that whole need, that barrier of entry of learning how all the features work, and just, because I think what we're seeing, really, from not just our customers, but from really from the market across the board, is that you know no matter what software you use, um, you know generally speaking, people that are working in a school, running a school, teaching at a school, no one's really excited about learning new software, no matter how great it is, right? So we're trying to, we're paying attention, we're reading the writing on the walls, with our customers and with the market in general, and we're trying to answer and actually deliver the right solutions. And what we believe is the right solution is a solution, not a software. So that's what we're providing now. Is if you want to just use the software like software, like you use all the other software, and you want to learn it and spend the time to learn it and use it and operate it yourself, then of course we can do that. That's what we've been doing for years. But if you want to just have access to the software, so that you know where everything is and you have access to it all, um, and so of course it's your data, your information, but you've got an expert level um, team that is going to basically do your bidding on demand at your beck and call, rather than having your team learn the software. Your team can just make requests and get everything that you need done really, really quickly, and allow your team to free up their time and focus on spending more face-to-face time with parents, more time in the classroom with children, and more time doing things that are not just busy work, but actually generating value for the school, the organization. So that's available to all of our customers and all new customers. So something to think about as well. And I just want to wish everybody wonderful holidays. I appreciate everyone joining us the Friday before Christmas, and it's been a pleasure. And we will see you guys next week. Make sure you come back. We're gonna show you more things that you can do with Hubbli, or can have Hubbli take care of for you. And we will see you then. All the best, everybody.